And we also need to use different grammar structures. So you are showing how well you are in terms of arranging your language. So we are not allowed to share our opinion, even if we know, exactly, number is for countable nouns and amount is for. So now you have the structure for your introduction, yeah? Even if we are using like numbers like 35, 50, 67, the percentage of British students, you shouldn't change it to people because they're students, you cannot change like students to people. For example, learning English in Uzbekistan is considerably, if you want to show a very small difference, you say, a meal at Rosie's. Rosie's is like a restaurant or cafe, okay? A meal at Rosie's costs £20 as opposed to, so we can change this percentage to the fraction. What is fraction? 3 times as many men said they enjoy watching thrillers.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maryam. Welcome to Writing Task 1 workshop. Okay, so today we will learn several structures on how to write Task 1 properly. Okay, so let's move on. So what we're going to learn today is types of Task 1 diagrams. So we will learn about marking criteria. Do you guys know what marking criteria is? Nah. Okay. Writing introduction, we will learn how to write the introduction for writing Task 1. And we will learn how to write advanced comparative and linking structures. And we will learn devices, okay, for this. So let's get started. What do you guys know about writing Task 1? So you know diagrams. What diagrams do you know? Good. What else? Line graph. What else? It's a report. Good. What else? Pie chart. Map. What else? So map, pie chart, bar chart, table. Okay. So you know how to differentiate them, right? So. Well, actually, the writing Task 1, I'm not sure whether I'll be able to talk this way. This mic. I hope I'm like quite loud. All right. This is better, right? Yeah. Much better. Okay. So we have 2 different types of Task 1 writing. So the first one is numerical, and the second one is pictorial. Sorry. Sorry, please. Okay, so we have, I'll continue with mine later on, okay? So, well, the numerical ones are those is like line graph, bar chart, pie chart, all those that you were talking, okay, about before. So the pictorial ones, the ones that don't have any numbers and figures and changes there, they're processes, maps, objects, cycles, and flowcharts. Is that clear? So now we will have a kind of warm up. I'll show you the type of the chart. You need to tell me what type it is. Okay? So this one is line graph. Good. This one, bar chart. Bar chart. Good job. Pie chart. Great. That one. Table. Tabular chart or table. Good. So this one. Process. Yeah, process. This is the map, and this is flow chart. This is a flow chart. Okay. All right. Good. So it means that you almost know everything about this one, right? So what did you know? 50-50. Okay, 50-50. All right. So this is what kind of chart? Bar chart. Yeah, this is the bar chart.
We compare. What do we usually compare there?
The highest one and
So we usually compare the numbers, percentages. No, we do not compare years. Like how are you going to compare 1996 and 1995? Very good. So we compare information in each year, right? Good, very good. So what should we look for? We look for the type of the chart. So we find out that this is a bar chart. Then what is being measured? Can you guys tell me what is being measured here? Percentage of what? Do you think it's the percentage of friend or unfriend? Could you please read the task first? What does it say? The chart below.
Below shows the main reasons why people choose to make or break friendship connections on popular social media sites.
So what does it show? The percentage of people who choose to become friends and break friendship on social media sites. So units, it means like percentage, right? We compare percents. Then we don't have any years or time periods here, so we move on, right? So then what do we pay attention to then? So when we write the overall. So what is the highest reason regarding which people become friends? Yeah, they know each other in the real life. So this is gonna be the first point that you're going to focus on, right? Then the main reason for breaking friendship? Yes, receiving offensive comments. Okay, good. So sometimes we have the charts with trends, right? So there are upward trends and downward trends. So upward trends usually show something which is increasing. Downward trends show that something is decreasing. Then we have some fluctuations and stagnation. What is stagnation? Yes. Okay. So for those trends, for those increasing trends, we have several words and topic vocabulary to use, right? Do you guys know them? No. So now we are going to know about them. So rise, yeah? So which means? Increase, yeah, increase. So you can write down if you don't know, okay? So then increase. What is climb? What is climb? Yes, so again, increased, right? So what is double?
2 times.
Increase twice, 2 times, exactly. Treble? 3 times. Boom, surge and soar means? How? How did it increase? Yes, dramatically increased, right? Very good. So, and then we have 2 different types of prepositions here, by and to. What is the difference between those 2 prepositions, by and to?
When it increases, for example, 20 persons, we say by 20 persons. The top person, we would say 2 persons.
Persons or percent? Percent. Okay. So for example, if it was 5 and then it became 15, we say it increased to 15. If it was 5 and then it changed to 15, we say increased by 10, right? Exactly. All right. Then we have some other verbs such as fall, decline, decrease, yeah? So these show that, what does it show?
Decrease.
Downward trends, right? So what is plummet? Decrease, okay. Dive. Also, what is deteriorate?
Extremely worse.
No, it becomes worse. Yes, exactly. So when something doesn't change, it means it stayed stable and it didn't change at all, right? Very good. So now I will explain you what marking criteria is. What is criteria?
The way we Sort something.
So something regarding which? No, not sort.
Some strategies or some rules which can help examiner to evaluate our task or our report.
So like, yes, exactly. For example, you have a task, right? And we need to put the score from 1 to 9, yeah? So then you might the question, what score shall we put? Okay? So why is that 9? Or why is it 6? Why is it 7? Or something like that, right? So we have 4 different criteria regarding which your writing is usually assessed. So the first one is task achievement. What is task achievement? It's how well you are in terms of responding to the question given. Okay, so there is a task, and how well you are in terms of responding to that question, whether you're answering that question fully or not. This is task achievement. What is coherence and cohesion?
Connection between ideas.
Yes, it is how well you are in terms of joining the words into the sentences, and then sentences into paragraphs, and then paragraphs, linking those paragraphs between the whole report, right? Very good. Oh, I'm sorry. So lexical resource. What is lexical resource? Yes. So this is the vocabulary, the word list that you're using to describe the chart, right? Very good. Then grammatical range and accuracy. So grammar. So what does it say about this grammar? So not only do you need to write the sentences correctly, but what else? But what else? And we also need to use different grammar structures. So if you used one sentence in one way, the second should come in a different form, in a different structure. For example, if the first sentence is written in active voice, this should be followed with the passive voice. Exactly. So you're showing how well you are in terms of arranging your language, okay? In terms of sentence structure, okay? Very good. So how to write? Can you guys tell me the structure of task 1? If you're already well aware of task 1 writing. So we start with introduction,
Main body.
Overall or main body? Overall, good. Then? Main body?
Body part 1.
Body 1, body?
2.
Exactly. Main body 1, main body 2, exactly. So there is no conclusion, why? Yes, exactly. So in task 1, we never ever use any conclusions. We never use this opinion, right? Because nobody asks them, right? Nobody is asking us whether to write, to share the opinion or not to share, right? So we are not allowed to share our opinion, even if we know that something changed because of something, okay? So now we are going to write an introduction, and we will learn how to write an introduction. What do we need to do in introduction? How do we usually write it?
Demonstrating first.
So we need to paraphrase the task. Exactly, we are paraphrasing the task. And how do we start?
The following words like shows, demonstrating reference, phrase.
So we say that the table demonstrates. So for example, it says that the graph shows something, something. We say the diagram. The diagram illustrates what? What does it illustrate? Information or data? Exactly. On what? Concerning, regarding, right? What? Regarding the amount, regarding the noun, the number, quantity, right? Percentage and proportion. Yes, exactly. So now you have the structure for your introduction, yeah? Please take a photo. Okay, now guys, what I want you to do is to use the vocabulary that now you learned and write down an introduction to the task provided here. So you have 3 minutes for this. Be quick. Right. Only introduction. Paraphrase the task. So the task given, the charts below show the proportions of British students at one university in England who were able to speak other languages in addition to English in 2000 and 2010. All right? So you want to change, like you can change the word proportion. What does it show? What does it show? It's not part, like people, like it's the languages. It cannot be one part of the language, right? It can be. So how can we paraphrase the word proportion? Okay, so now I will explain you. What is the difference between number and amount? Exactly. Number is for countable nouns and amount is for uncountable, exactly. So this is countable, right? So we cannot use the word amount. So we are using, it's actually percentage. So this is the pie chart, you see? Pie chart usually constitutes 100%. So if it is 20 or 35, it means it is 35%, okay?
So the word proportion we can
Change to percent, exactly. And then one more question. What's the difference between percent and percentage? What's the difference between percent and percentage? What? No. Why not? Why not? Okay, so percent usually goes with numbers. We say 3%, 5%, 10%. But percentage does not go with numbers. We say like a big percentage of people, okay? A huge percentage of money. Is that clear? Yeah? Even if we are using like numbers like 35, 50, 67, we never say percents. We say percent. It doesn't change, okay? Good. So, is there anyone brave? Oh my gosh, like I'm very, very bad with technology. Like, look, we never talk languages, we speak languages, right? Then you say, then like talk other languages, foreign languages, then?
And also English?
No, not also English, okay? Besides English, not except. What is except? What's the difference between besides and except?
also. Besides means also.
So it means like this one, and in addition, something different, right? So but except means everything apart this, everything. So it's not except, but it's besides, right? Good. So, anybody else?
The chart illustrates percent of British people in one English university who can speak several languages in addition English between 20 and 2010.
Who
Or
can
during
speak?
10 years.
No, it's not. It's not. Well, first of all, it's not during, right? What's the problem with during? What's the problem with during?
During is like between this year.
No, not really. Well, during we usually use with one word. For example, during the lunch, during the match. But when we show the years, what preposition do we use?
From to.
Or if we want to show that there is like certain amount of period covered, so we use
During 10 years study.
now again during is used with one word. So for. It's for 10 years, okay? Or throughout 10 years. But here, it's not a progression. It's not 10-year period. It's like 2 different years are given. The one is in 2000 and the second is 2010, yeah? So,
Can we say between 20 and 2010?
no. It's like in 20 and 2010. Because like between means like from that moment to that moment. Do you see the whole picture? No, only 2 separate years, right? Good. So this is my example. So the pie charts compare what? The percentage of British students. You shouldn't change it to people because they're students. You cannot change like students to people, okay? Because they're specific people here. Being able to, at one of the universities in England, being able to speak additional language to English, okay? To English in 2000 and 2010. Easy peasy? Yes? Yeah? Okay, shall we move on? Okay, so now what I want you to do is to take a photo of this diagram. Done? Now what you need to do, guys, is to read the sentences that you will see on the following slide and decide whether the sentences are true, the statements they are true or false. Clear? Yeah? But please be very, very attentive. Look through this chart. So, let's start from here. So it says that on a typical Saturday, Bernie Burns is generally busier than Lovely Lowe's. Please check it and tell me whether it is true or false. No, you're not taking photo of this. You need to look at the previous chart and tell me if the sentences are true or false. So, the first one, true or false? True. Good job. Next. Donuts are by far the most popular item among customers in both stores. True.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Good. Good job. Next. The second best-selling item in Bernie Burns is cookies. True. Good. Next. Fresh loaves are the least popular snack overall. False. Yeah. Lovely Loaves sells slightly more salads than Bernie Burns. False. And toasted sandwiches are as popular as cookies. What is as popular as? What is as popular? The same, on the same level. Yeah, so this is false. So, as you guys said, that the main thing we do in task 1 is we compare. So logically, we need to learn some language and structure to compare the items, figures, numbers, and percentages there, right? So let's move on here. You guys all know this comparative degree, right? So these are the 4 adjectives. Yeah. So let's quickly do that. Okay, it doesn't take much time. So if it is cheap, what do we say for comparative? Cheaper, not more cheap, right? Cheaper. And for superlative? The cheapest or the least cheap. The least cheap. Yes, exactly. Common, more common, or less common. Really? Learning grammar is more interesting than learning vocabulary? All right. So if you go overseas, you will tell the people what the present continuous and present simple is, right? You will not be using the vocabulary, not going to talk to them. Okay, good. So now, sometimes we need to use the words to show that difference. So we say this more popular, more beautiful, less interesting, but how much there is that difference, okay? So we use these words such as much. For example, much more interesting. For you, what's your name? For Farangis, learning grammar is much more interesting than learning vocabulary. Okay. So when you want to show the big difference, you say much, a lot, considerably. Okay. For example, learning English in Uzbekistan is considerably more important than learning, for example, Chinese. Right? Right? Agree? If you want to show a very small difference, you say a little or slightly. Yes. Okay. So we have two different sentences to construct here. Coffee in the UK. So we have the UK and then we have France. So the coffee in the UK, more expensive, and use this word. Much more expensive than the one in France. Next, the cost of coffee in Spain, and like look at the Spain and then France. So how much cheaper? A bit cheaper. So the cost of a coffee in Spain is a bit cheaper than the one in France. Very good. So another one is like SS structure. Yeah? So SS means the same, on the same level, exactly. But not SS means?
It's not same.
Okay. For example, if both of them were $2, we would say hamburgers are as expensive as French fries. But if it is, but the prices are different, we say French fries are not, right? So they are not the same price, right? So are not as expensive as hamburgers. Okay, Majorca isn't as adjective. We need adjective.
Cool. Hot.
Hot, yes. So Majorca isn't as hot as Castellon. Southern trains and northern trains.
Southern trains is not as
Northern
far as
train, like northern trains is or are? Northern trains are not as fast as southern trains. Clear? Yes? Okay, good. So now, look at this diagram, please. So what do you see here? So this is the pie chart, and what does it show? Subjects for schools. Let's look at this difference and make up the sentences here. So we have the list of subjects which are favored by boys, right? So we need to make the sentences. So we say that, let's say, we have, let's say, science. This is the red one, and then we have physical education. So use this structure with SS and make the sentence here. So physical education, so science, popular as physical education. Easy? Yeah, very good. Next, mathematics, which is green, and let it be technology, which is violet, purple. So technology isn't as mathematics. And then let's use this much more, or for example, a lot more, a lot less, and those other words, okay? Mathematics is much more popular than technology. Okay, and then for example, geography was physical education. We say that geography is, no, like look, physical education and geography. So no, geography is considerably less popular than, like less, we use less, and this is then, right? So that geography is considerably less popular than physical education, exactly. So now students, we need to paraphrase the sentences here with not as much as or not as, okay? We have the adjectives here, and then we have this form, as. So let me read the first sentence. Monster hits sold 230,000 CDs in 1990, whereas Crooners PLC sold 225,000. So how can we reconstruct the sentence? Successful, very good word. So Crooners PLC. So it's like 1990. So we say wasn't, as monster hits, right? So then 100 couples chose the name James in 2000, while just 20 couples opted for the name Peter. So, no, in 2000. So, so the name Peter was not as popular as the name James in 2000, right? Clear? Yeah? Let's move on. Okay, now look at these phrases and decide whether they express a big difference or small difference. So let's start from here. So nowhere was nowhere near as expensive as. Big difference or small difference? Nowhere near. So it was here, and the one was nowhere near. So it was nowhere near. It wasn't near. Big difference. Yes. Not quite as. Small difference. Not nearly as. Big difference. And was almost as. So big difference, small difference, big difference, and yeah, very good, students. So the same structure that we learned as, for example, she is as beautiful as her mother, right? We can use the same structure but with verbs and nouns. Okay, just like here. Crooners PLC didn't sell as many CDs as Monster Hits records in 1990. Okay, so we're not using adjectives, but so the first one, what's your name? Yeah, Fazlidin. Read the first one and complete. So what didn't do? What didn't it do? So we're not taken or? Yes, So Japan didn't win. No. No. Look, first we use verb, right? So Japan didn't win as many medals as Ethiopia, taking home 9 compared to Ethiopia's 10. Very good. Next, the USA won 48 gold medals, but this was nowhere near as much as China won. Very good. The USA was, and here I want you to use adjective. I want you to use adjective.
As much as China.
No, it wasn't as much as China. Look, the one is 48 and the second was 62. So the USA wasn't as successful as China, winning 48 medals compared to 62. Really good. And then the last one? Didn't do what? Didn't win. As many. Much is for uncountable, right? As many medals as French athletes. 21 compared to France. Okay, now it's linking devices. What is linking devices? Yes, exactly. Why do we use them? What's the name? Shirinoi. Why do we use them? Exactly. To make one complex or compound sentence, right? Out of two simple ones. So, look at them. Monster Hits records sold 230,000 CDs in 1990. While, so when do we use while? When do we? Yes, exactly. When we include certain contradictory idea in the second part. while the Couriers PLC sold 225. Next, Monster Hits Records sold 230 as opposed to Kernels PLC, who sold 225. Please, students, pay attention. If it is as opposed to, we use subject, then we use comma, and then we say who, okay? We use the relative clause, okay? So 100 couples choose the name James in 2000, whereas, just like while, just 20 couples opted for the name Peter. 100 couples chose the names James in 2000 compared to 20 again as opposed to who opted for the name Peter. Yes? So the linking devices whereas and while work with slightly different grammar to compare to and opposed to. So what is the difference? We need to use relative clause after as opposed to and compared to. Good. So now, students, please correct the mistakes. Shirino, read, please.
First,
Yes, the first sentence.
just 10% of first-time buyers said they needed a garage as opposed to a certain person said a large kitchen was necessary.
Suppose it is a mistake.
As opposed
To 30%. Who said? Yes, exactly. Very good. Next, who's the next one? Fazidin, would you like to be?
Just 10% of first-time buyers said that they needed a garage, while 30% of
Whereas 30%.
whereas 30% who said a large kitchen was necessary.
So where's the mistake? We don't need who? Yes, exactly. So here, 500 people owned a dog while
others own the cat.
yes, while only, for example, while only 200 had cats as a pet, right? A meal at Rosie's is like a restaurant or cafe, okay? A meal at Rosie's costs £20 as opposed to like the restaurant's name, as opposed to any. As opposed to Octepalavash, right? As opposed to Octepalavash, where it costs $2, right? Does it cost $2 there? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Well, good job. So sometimes when you see the percents and percentages in the diagrams, you shouldn't write this percent all the time, because we need to vary our language and to show how well we are in terms of interpretation. What is interpretation? Explaining, right? Explaining those figures and numbers, these percentages. So we can change this percentage to the fraction. What is fraction?
Amount.
You can say in Uzbek. Yes, exactly. Very good. So 50%, how can we interpret this 50%? Half. Okay. 25%. A fourth. 75%. 3/4. Exactly. Next, 33.3. 2/3. 40%. It's 40. No, it's not almost half. Like 40%. This is okay. What is 20%? Mathematics is not your favorite subject, right? So if 10%, it is 10%. It is a tenth, right? 2/5. Yes, exactly. So if 20%, it's a fifth. So then 40% is 2/5. 10%, 1/10. 66.6. If 33 is a third, then that one is 2/3, right? For example, coming back to that chart, we can say, for example, 50%, like 20% of people owned a dog, while a third had a cat as a pet. Okay? Good, very good. So, but usually, in your diagrams, you're not going to see this kind of percentage, like roughly 10, I mean, exactly 10, exactly 40. It should be, it can be somewhere in between, right? A bit less or a bit more. So that's why we need to use several phrases to write a suitable percentage for these descriptions. For example, just over 3/4. If 3/4 is 75, just over 3/4 would be 76, right? What about nearly a third of girls? So if third is 33.3, then nearly a third is 30, 31, exactly. Just under a quarter of people asked. So if quarter is 25, just under a quarter? 24, 23, yes? Good. Around a third of all passengers. Again, nearly a third and around a third, they're synonyms. So it is 30, 31, yeah? Almost half of students. 49, approximately 2/3. So if 2/3 is 60, it can be 65, 66, yes. Okay, so one more thing is that the phrases such as in turn and respectively. When do we use those phrases, in turn and respectively? Who knows?
When we want to show two numbers
And
at the same time.
yes, exactly. And we want to show that one number belongs to one place or one thing, and the second number belongs to the second thing, right? So please pay attention here. So the word respectively is very, very useful in task 1 for placing data in order. So cookies and cakes are the next best sellers with around 115 and 100 of these snacks sold respectively. Respectively means that the number of cookies sold were 115 and the number of cakes sold were 100. So 115 belongs to cakes because it comes first. 115 comes first, okay? Cakes comes second. The 100 belongs to cakes. Easy? Yeah? So the temperature in Rabai Island was much lower than in Phuket at 15 degrees and 25 degrees respectively. So it means the temperature in Rabai Island is 15 and in Phuket 25. The number of visitors to Portugal was twice as high. Twice as high means 2 times more, right? Twice as high as those who went to Greece at 500 and 250 respectively. So visitors to Portugal, 500, and to Greece? Good. Such clever students. So, house in Notting Hill, average 500,000 pounds. House in Sloane Square, 620,000. So, let's make a sentence here. Shall I help you? It's like, again, SS. Choose the structure, SS. The house in Notting Hill isn't expensive as the one square with what? 500,000 pounds and 620,000 respectively. One more. People aged 20, 30 who like jazz, 11%. The same aged who like hip hop, 35%. So then, again, let's compare jazz and hip hop.
The jazz is not as popular
as hip hop among people aged 20, 30 with 11% and very good. So JFK Airport, 2.9 million users. Newark Airport, 1.9 million users. So had more visitors in March with Newark Airport with in March with 2.9 and 1.9 million users. Good. So favorite film genre among men. So let's compare this one. So in order to compare, please take a picture, take a photo. So, please look at the chart and tell me. So sometimes we can use the phrases such as 3 times, twice, and half, which means 3 times more or 2 times more, okay? A half means like 2 times less, right? So action movies, twice as popular as next, thrillers and romantic comedies. Thrillers are 3 times as popular as romantic comedies. Science fiction films, only half as popular as comedies among men. Now please compare comedies and action movies. Comedies and action movies are half as popular as action movies. Westerns and romantic comedies. Look at this chart. Westerns are twice as popular as. Very good. So now you need to decide whether we use this the phrases as, then, or for. Okay. So twice as many men said they liked action movies. Then. Look, we started with as. So twice as many men said they liked action movies as comedies. 3 times as many men said they enjoy watching thrillers as romantic comedies. 4 times as many men prefer watching action films as both westerns and science fictions. Yes, exactly. Now, this is 5 favorite movies by genre, like among women. So let's make 2 sentences here. Okay? Let's compare comedy and thriller. Comedy is twice as popular as thriller. Now, comedy and sci-fi. What is sci-fi? Science fiction, yes.
Science fiction movies is 4 times less.
No. We are using this again as. So comedy. Comedy is
4 times.
4 times what? As popular as sci-fi. Very good. So now we have this chart. Sometimes you need to write about the reports of opinions of people, right? So we will be completing the sentence structure so that you will see what phrases we can use to start the sentences in main bodies. Okay? So in the first, second, last. So what word will we choose from the box? Place, right? In the first place, top, bottom of the list. The number 3. The number place. Oh, that's weird here. The number.
No, number 3. Number 1 activity.
maybe, yes. First, last on the list was. Ranked in third place was. So these guys are the phrases that you can use for this. For example, sport and fitness activities. You see this is the highest, right? So in the first place was sport and fitness activity. Is that clear? Yes? Now, when you're writing about reports, you need to use the structure for reports. Like 45 people said they prefer. Okay, so something said something. Somebody said something, I'm sorry. Now, students, you need to put those words in a correct order so that's to make a correct structure, sentence structure. So just 10% of the
People who said were.
No.
That's 10.
So just 10% of the people who were asked said. More than 30% of the people said. Over half of the respondents said. Around a third of the questionnaire said. Okay. Now, this is, I suppose, the pre-last activity. Here we will check all the knowledge that we learned today. Okay. Look at this first activity. Can you please tell me the adjectives which are constructed in a wrong way? Okay. So the first is easier. There should be I. Then higher. Healthier. No. Further is okay. Next. Busier. So then superlative form. Successful. The most successful. Fast. Well paid. The most well paid. New York Airport, you need to correct the mistake, is not busier as JFK Airport. Is not as busy as JFK Airport. The Grange Hotel is not as expensive as Lumley Lodge. So now you need to use the comparative and superlatives to lead the information. Land Rover 150, Jaguar and Mitsubishi. So look, you can say that Mitsubishi is not as fast. Look, it's about the speed. It's not about the price. It's about the speed. Miles per hour. Yes. So Mitsubishi wasn't or isn't as Land Rover with 120 and 140 miles per hour. However, Jaguar is the fastest. Next. St. James Football is little less successful, right, than Yeah, the land port is the most successful. Scuba diving course, kite surfing course, and kayaking.
Kayaking course is not as popular as
Diving course with
kite surfing. It's 180 people and 520 respectively. But the kite surfing was the most successful.
Okay, very good. So how do we interpret 81? You remember 40, you said it was 2/5. So 80 is 4/5. It's 81, so it's just above 4/5. 74%? Under? 3 quarters. 298? Almost, no, it's not percentage. Almost 300. 1 in 5 is 20%. 10%? 1/10. 1/10. 34? Just above third. Less than 50, right? Okay. Chicken is twice expensive. You need to add some missing words here. Chicken. As what? So chicken is twice as expensive as sag aloe. Next, chicken costs twice as much as sag aloe. And twice order sag aloe as twice as many customers ordered as the chicken aloe. Okay, so I think that this workshop was practical for you. You don't regret coming. I hope that all the structures that we learned today you will use in writing your task 1. The main advice that I can give you to write more and read more task 1 writings reports, so that to have certain awareness how to write or not to write properly. Okay? So that's it. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your attention. See you guys. Bye.